Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is October 23rd, 2023, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets continue to sell off again. Yes, again. But before we jump on that, looking at today's activity, no major economic events scheduled for today. However, tomorrow, lots of activity, lots of corporate earnings. You do want to know about it even before it happens, so just be aware. Now, looking at the various markets going into today's activity, Forex symbols, major pairs really remaining unchanged, while the indices, we're watching the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both sell off. Looking at commodities, gold unchanged and steady, while oil does sell off. Now, looking at the stocks, it was almost across the board, the sell-off. However, big tech were the biggest losers, and that sell-off continues. Lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin trades higher, above 30K. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go with the EURUSD, not doing much. It is at the top of its range, so it did get a little bit stronger over the weekend. However, all intents and purposes, really unchanged. It's still trading within that range. Now, if it does break above that 30-day moving average, which is the blue line as you see here, then it may get a little bit more interesting. Now, jumping into the GBP USD also, that is pretty much unchanged week to week, as that is really not doing much. Okay, remember, this was the weaker one versus the dollar, as that has changed character. Now, jumping into commodities. First, looking at gold. Gold remained steady, 1978. Didn't retrace much from last week's activity and made some real estate back after hitting 1996. So we are in a decent range in terms of trading it. It is in play. Now, the question is whether or not it's going to push back to 2000, considering all the situations that we're under right now. Okay, a lot of economic data coming out. Tomorrow we have a lot of corporate earnings starting to come out, Microsoft, Google. So things are going to be cooking. And the question is whether or not gold is going to continue being in play. Now, jumping into crude oil, did retrace and did break that downwards momentum. Okay, upwards momentum, excuse me, and going from $90 down to $87. That's a decent decline. The question is whether or not this is going to continue to be an upwards trend. Okay, it still has some sort of upwards trend line. Might not be as aggressive as it was before, but it's still an upwards trend. So keep an eye on this as this continues to show itself, whether or not it's going to continue upwards trending or it's going to consolidate between $90 to $87 a barrel. Now, jumping into the U.S. markets, okay, the Dow Jones, big sell-off, almost back to its lows of 33,000. It's at 33,200, and if it does test this lower limit and we break lower, we could go back to that 31,000-ish level. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, also showing some weakness here from 15,274, and you just see it slide and continue slide over 600 points. And that's a very significant slide. Now, looking at a daily, this is where it becomes really important, because if it does break this line, okay, it could pretty much be a breaker. And the next real support is 13,000. So just keep that in mind. Now, looking at the U.S. stocks, Apple, big sell-off, okay? If we look at all of them, Facebook, also a big sell-off. Like, they're all sold off. There's nothing that has been really strong and outstanding. Amazon also sold off and on supportish levels. So you got to keep an eye on this as this continues today. Now, just be aware, in these type of environments where we're in a sell-off, there are times that we spike higher. And that's because there are short squeezes. And that's because people are covering their shorts. And as a result, it makes these artificial kind of feeling that we are actually going higher. But in truth, it's not. So just be aware that we may get a short squeeze, especially near a supportish level as we are right now. Now, one other thing, looking at Bitcoin, okay, this remains the big story. And just coming out of nowhere, above 30K all of a sudden. Okay, so that continues. And this is quite interesting because 30K is a really important threshold. If this looks like it's getting back into play and it's going to continue this, then it may push above 30K. We could see it back in 60K-ish level at some point. Okay, the reason I'm saying that is because Bitcoin is so thin and is so versatile that once it's in play, it's in play. I mean, you know, when it's not in play, it's not in play. And it hasn't been in play over the past 6 months. But if it continues like this and we're going to see it push higher, it may get us into some serious trading opportunities. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.